Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. And we are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a great viewer question. And that is, how do I move on? How do I become more disciplined after I've been in a relationship with this person who has ripped my life apart? That is a great question. How do I get more disciplined in order to move on and really sort of sort this all out and get back on my feet and have a clean break so I'm not dredging this into my life and really into my next relationship really is the core question. So that's a great viewer question. But before we get started, I want to give a super huge shout out to those of you who have really stepped forward, stepped up, and made a donation to the Peace and Harmony channel. Thank you so much. It is wonderful to hear from you empowered harmonizers. Thank you for your kind words. I'm so glad that you're finding courage, understanding, peace, and having that fulfillment and that focus in order to sort things out, sort of make sense of it all, and then put it behind you. Not just bury it, but put it behind you and move forward. It is not easy. I understand that 100%. I feel very bad that people waste weeks and months and years of their life, decades sometimes, trying to put their life together in order to move on. So many people don't truly resolve the hurts, the emotional wounds, the scars that become festering wounds after moving through a relationship with a very harsh individual. A very demeaning, devaluing, belittling, or degrading character. Someone who might be malignant, narcissistic, psychopathic. Those people who deceive and betray others. Who really have the big egos. Who we feel that we must subjugate or sacrifice ourselves in order to stay in the relationship. In order to allow more room for them than for us. So thank you so much for your donations. It's wonderful to hear from you. And once again, absolutely, if you would like to participate and donate to the channel, please you can click the PayPal Donate Now button that we have here with the videos. So thank you once again, and more power to you on your journey moving forward. Please stay tuned because we are going to cover it all. We're going to cover everything. And today, so we're really moving in on really, how do you get the discipline to move on? How do you maintain, what is really required? So number one, you have to have focus and you have to know what you want. You have to have focus and you have to know what you want. You have to be able to have a real certainty, and this becomes very difficult, but actually it's quite enjoyable and fun, and it actually makes the process more rewarding and more positive and more successful for you if you're able to understand and reward yourself for getting focused and knowing what you want. So, sometimes going through a breakup or a very trying relationship can really cause you some times of introspection, meaning that you kind of have to get focused. You kind of have to zoom in. You kind of have to do some work, even if it's a laundry list of stuff that you need to come to terms with why this all went south, why you became a wayward son or a wayward daughter, a wayward girl or a wayward boy, man or female, man or woman, in your journey and in your experience with this relationship, particularly with someone who is manipulative, deceitful, deceptive, betraying, keeping a lot of plates spinning, a lot of fires going in their life that you never ever see, that are like creating these smoldering wounds within you. Well, that is completely normal. It does take time to heal. How long is it going to take? Well, if you utilize the tools, you're going to get a lot further. There's a saying, in order to chop down the forest, meaning in order to get productive and do the work, you must sharpen your axe. There's an old parable that talks about a lumberjack that was set up in like a contest to see, who could cut down the tree the quickest. And they had a specific amount of time. Let's just say like 4 hours. And, you know, they had to cut down this big, huge 400-year-old tree with a massive trunk, you know, a big job by any standards, especially for a skilled craftsman. And so within the 4 hours, you know, one just started right away and used every, you know, sawtooth, saw, every axe that he could to try to get at that base and tumble that big tree down in order to win the contest. The other guy went back and he completely sharpened his axe. He spent most of the time getting it super, super sharp so he could get through it in a couple really fell blows. So, and then he ended up winning the contest. So that's just a short parable, but if you have the tools, if you have sharpened and gotten like a razor-like focus, if you have sharpened the tools, and if you know even what the tools are in your toolbox, such as we discuss here on the channel and that I'm curating and putting together for the book that I'm working on, if you sharpen your tools, you'll get the job done. You'll heal much quicker. You'll heal in a much, you know, more complete manner so it doesn't fester and drag on. I find it very, very sad that people suffer for so long and never really sort of get better, feel better, get on their feet, get on the road, and start just sort of moving on and putting this relationship or the situation behind them. But it's so very difficult if there's a really intense psychological trauma bond that's kind of kept you, you know, for assorted reasons. Maybe your childhood, maybe there was a weakness in you, a vulnerability that made you susceptible to being targeted and staying with these individuals for way too long. In other words, you didn't have the perspective. You didn't realize what was going on. You couldn't keep track of things, or things became so unmanageable. You know, trying to figure them out, figure out where they are, figure out their level of commitment. Did they do this? Did they cheat on that? Did they diss me here? Did they lie about this vacation there? You know, you become like the super sleuth, trying to, you know, figure them out, hunt them down, and then ultimately lead to the exposure, meaning, aha, here I have the evidence. So it can provide as a true distraction to people. So namely, to move on, you need to get the discipline and to get focus, meaning what you focus on grows, the law of attraction. How does this impact your ability to reduce the sort of smoldering cycle where you're angry, you want to, you know, confront them, you want closure, you want to go tit for tat, you want to go toe for toe, you want to go belly for belly, you really want to confront them. What's really important to save yourself time is begin to look at that tendency as a distraction. It's keeping you off track. You need to have razor-like focus on what you want, not settling the score with this person, because this person will always, you know, go and get an umpire or come up with some other reason. You don't want to fight with these people. You don't want to go toe for toe. You don't want to go belly to belly. You know, how many mad texts are you going to do and sit at the bar and text them until, you know, the bar closes, and then you get in your car and you're still texting them. You're still just trying to accumulate, you know, all these resources. You know, stop that, you know, drudgery. Stop that smoldering wounds. You're trying to, what I call, enter into the boxing ring. Whether it's emails, following them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the various ways people are checking up on this individual and just trying to compile evidence. You know, this becomes a true distraction, because really, if they were meant to be in your life in a more full, committed, right way, they would be there right now. You're unequivocally at the right place at the right time. You have enough within yourself, if you're to be rigorously honest, to say, you know what, I'm going to drop my ego, I'm going to drop my pride, I'm going to drop all that logic, and I'm just going to let it go and float off and just sail off into the distance like 100 helium balloons. I'm just going to let the gale force winds just carry it away and get it out of my, you know, get the dark cloud, you know, from hanging into my life. You know, I'm going to let it all dissipate and go away. I'm not trying to, you know, keep more of these dreary days, this dreary perspective, and I'm going to let that go. Enough is enough. Now is the time. The problem with people and their discipline is they always think that they have so much time. You know, if enough time passes, they make a lot of excuses. It's enough, no more excuses. You know, if this person, if that doesn't work out, then maybe they'll come back to me. So you have all these sort of fantasies or things that are like, you know, maybe this person will see the error of their ways and will, you know, make peace, and will sit around and pass the peace pipe or whatever it is you're imagining is going to occur. We'll go on vacations, we'll have holidays, birthdays, we'll have a family. You know, a lot of people kind of keep these illusions cycling around. This is a distraction. Yes, in my viewpoint, it's the mind way of keeping it in front of you so you can get it sorted out, so you can eliminate the hurt, you can eliminate the emotional pain if you figure it out from a logic basis. Oftentimes these people don't play by logic. They are pathological liars. They might lie on a day in, day out basis just because they can, just because they get a feeling of satisfaction from it. They get a sense of gratification and reward. The psychopath, those individuals who don't really bond and connect with others, and they don't really love, they just don't have the capacity. It's just not because of you. It's not anything that you're not desirable, you're not lovable, you're not affectionate enough, you don't have what it takes. That's not the problem. The problem is that these people do not have the ability to connect, to commit, to be loyal, to be authentic, to be genuine. You know, they just don't, it's based on their neurology, how their brain works, how their perception works, how they, you know, their personality, their whatever it is, disorder, it is what it is. You did not create it. You do not have to fix it. You don't have to take on that fight. If it is, you're to set yourself up for a whole bunch of, you know, you're setting yourself up for exercises in futility. I basically call it's an exercise in futility. You know, a lot of people would feel like a great release or have it very cathartic if they were just to yell and scream and get it all out to this person and let them know. But you know what? For a psychopath, they, you know, when you're at that level, they're very satisfied. You know, you're still perpetuating the relationship when you do this. You're still giving them a reward, but you're not rewarding yourself. You might feel a lot better, you know, by getting it out, but oftentimes it's better to like actually truly get it out either in, you know, the privacy of these videos or in your writing or while you're walking, you know, to get it out and purge it out of your system. You know, if you need to, you know, yell it all out, then yell it all out and like send a phone call to yourself, you know. But if you go back to this person, you know, oftentimes they're either going to, you know, keep you there, or you're going to think that you should be kept there. They're not really, they just don't learn. They don't feel that they have done anything wrong. So it's a distraction. It's an exercise of futility to think, well, if I only confront this person, well, you know what? You must be the determiner of this, but you must be empowered. You know, you must not sacrifice your time, which is your most precious ally. Your time is so sacred. If you're, you know, just weeks and weeks are going by and your life is just dissipating, yes, you might need to have a true period of retreat, of backing down from life in a lot of ways where you really need to work this out. You know, you might need to take off some work. You might need to go on a vacation. You might need to go on a hike, a walk. You might need to go on a journey. You might need to go walk, you know, the place in Brazil where they have or, you know, St. John. You might need to go somewhere for some healing. You might need to do some healing therapies. You might need to work, you know, in this area for yourself and kind of reset your energetic vibration so you're not giving off a lot of these sad, depressed energies so that you're not like dragging it in. So that might be a requirement for you. So you really need to understand that then you need to focus on that. If you can't enter that part of the journey, because you're still so wound up, then you might need to say for yourself, well, to what degree do I need to really yell it out, confront this person I'm so sick of, I'm so tired of, but I really don't advocate that. If you truly feel that you would feel better by doing that and then just letting them know they messed with the wrong person, you gotta make sure that you're not doing anything too wackadoodle that, I've had, people who, do this to their cars or whatever, egg their house, whatever strange things, don't get out of control. You really do need to release the anger. And so you need to release it in other ways. Exercise, walking, cooking healthy food, studying. Get the focus on really you. And a lot of people, they aren't rewarded by that practice. I unequivocally then recommend you need to go on, stay focused. Have the discipline to focus on yourself and begin to really monitor and modify your routine. In other words, really get a discipline, get some structure in it. To have a formless sense of recovery is to allow it to smolder on. You really have to extinguish this focus on them and then that sort of assessment that there's something weak or, about you. You must understand and really to see that there's nothing wrong with you. It's a matter of becoming more conscious and aware of the red flags and then where your boundary is. Raise your standards. Get to know what it is that you really want. Get a very clear vision. Allow the law of attraction to work for you. What you focus on grows. And your perspective, if you focus on yourself and say, I'm meek, I'm weak, then your perspective of yourself, how you view yourself, is going to have a huge determinant with dulling out your acts, like we were talking about. To really sharpen up your acts, you need to get a bigger vision for yourself. Begin to raise your standards. I very much like to come back to boundaries, which meaning where I end and this person begins, to become aware of energetic boundaries. To understand that you occupy a space in this universe at large. And you also have depth. Not only does the boundary have, width and length, meaning, the 8 feet, 9 feet around you, including behind, but you also have depth, your vertical reality, meaning the depth of what it is that you want in this life, your life purpose, what you're here to do, who you are, who do you, who the big age-old question of philosophers from, BC eras, know thyself. And it's to know thyself is not to say only what egoic terms do I have. Am I a lawyer? Am I a doctor? Am I an Indian chief? I am not more than your profession, not more than a label. That is what, like Eckhart Tolle would call your content. It's like your identity. And oftentimes when people are healing, their identity is caught up in their I am. Is I am a victim. I am, taken for this. I am. And then so they're giving them their own selves a label. And that label oftentimes unconsciously that you're doing, which is where the space that we need to heal, believe it or not, it's the power of your subconscious mind. Your mind, it's told we only use like 1 or 1.5% of our mind. When you really think about that reality, as is known by science, that's a very small portion. And a large part of your brain and your brain activity is in the limbic and unconscious, meaning getting into those deeper levels, those deeper brainwave patterns, the delta, the more meditative, just like right when you wake up, where your brain is, very, very slow, and it's sort of very meditative, just like right when you go to sleep, and your brain waves are really at that slower processing. It's caught up, it's now entering into the subconscious where you're allowing yourself to take rest and relaxation. It is in the unseen, in that power of the subconscious, where your beliefs are held, your boundaries are held, your standards. So we need to bring and open up that little door within, that little channel within, and get into and allow ourselves to reset and reprogram and focus from the subconscious. So you need to prime that, the subconscious mind, meaning how you define yourself and what you believe is possible for you. So if you are living in the unconscious belief, this is impossible, I will never improve, this is taken, this is my entirety, this got the best of me, those are your beliefs. You are programming that belief into yourself. So become very well aware of that so that you're not distracted by low-level beliefs. It's also important to understand what boundaries are, where you take back your pride, you take back your power, you take back, the part of yourself where you truly, like Plato says, you get to know thyself. And I'll give you a cheat sheet to help sharpen your axe. To know yourself is to enter into your essence. It's to stop labeling, in fact, de-label everything in your life. De-label everything. This is good, this is bad, especially this is my label, this is my title, this is my this, all these this is my age, this is my gender, this is where I live, this is my nationality, this is my religion, all these definers. Begin to remove these definers. These are all creations of the egoic mind. And stop, eliminate those definers. And just let them go for a moment. Stop being caught up in all that. Because oftentimes what people don't realize on the unconscious level is that your identity, if you don't do this deep cleaning, if you will, of your life, of your mind, and take time to do this, you're living by cluttered beliefs. You don't have a clear perspective. You can't really see and know and attract what you want now. Because healing is all about letting that go, letting that person go like 100 helium balloons and let them sail off into the distance, the sunset, Tonto, whoever's with them, it doesn't matter. Male or female, it doesn't matter. Rich or poor, it doesn't matter. Seductive, the best, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let it all go with all those balloons. Bye-bye. Baby bye. That song, Justin Timberlake, baby bye, bye, bye. Let them go. Let them go to the light. Let them go into the light. Don't, wish bad, this, that, I'm going to tyrannize, get above it, be the bigger person, raise your standards, and let them go in love and light, and wish them well in your heart of hearts, the depth of your subconscious. I wish you, and just say in your heart, I wish you the best. All the best, despite the fact that they might have taken years or decades off of your life. Wish them all the best. Believe me, this will bring you gratitude. This will give you space to breathe in your own life. It'll help you to become expansive. To get more focus, you really need to expand your focus and start eliminate all these categorizations and definers that have been running your life, not only with them, but really in your life in general. Begin to let go of all those labels and feel how much lighter it is. I am sad, I am this, all these negative self-beliefs that keep you feeling weighted down like a ton of bricks. If you put on 50 pounds of lead on those balloons, it's going to be really tough. Uncut the lead, whatever it is in that egoic mind that's keeping you stuck there like emotional lead. You can improve your focus and become more productive once you let that go. And know thyself, once again, to really get focus and discipline. Like Plato said, I'm giving you the razor sharp, I'm helping you to sharpen your perspective. I'm like a consciousness sharpener here, like a pencil sharpener. I'm a consciousness sharpener for you. Begin to know thyself, which is meaning you exist in the essence. You are consciousness. That is getting to the fundamental and then the ultimate high level awareness. You are consciousness. You are awareness. And you'll begin to live in that essence once you begin to go into some of these exercises, and that's really what the recovery date is about. It's allowing you to be as an essence, to become pure, unadulterated, uncontaminated, and eliminate all that from your life, and then go forth into life with a new perspective that is enlarged for yourself, and that is focused on then in the dream mode, basically, where I know